Hi, hello everyone. This is RK. Welcome back to my channel Bytecode with RK. If you are new to my channel, please do like, share, and subscribe to my channel. For notifications, click on bell icon. In today's topic, we will discuss method references from the Java 8. So, what is method references? Why we use method references, and when to use the method references? Like lambda expressions, method reference also works with the functional interfaces only. And the method references are shortest form of the lambda expression. You can replace the lambda expressions with the method references also. In case of lambda expressions, we will write the inline code or anonymous function wherever it is required, right? So whereas in case of method references, you can keep all these lambda style code into a separate method and then reuse the same method. With lambda expressions, you need to write the inline code, but with method references you can write the code once and use anywhere. Means reuse the code, write a separate method for that code and keep that code into that inside the method, and then wherever the code is required, reusable code is required, then you can call that method references. Method references. The references. What is method references? Short block of code which is placed inside method and can be reused. Okay, so method reference is a short block of code. So we will keep that short block of code in a method, so that you can reuse the same code wherever it is required. So that is one, and it is method references works with the functional interface only, and it replaces the lambda expression. In case of lambda expressions, you need to write the inline code, whereas in case of method references, you can keep commonly reusable code inside the method and use that method wherever you required. In the last session, we have discussed lambda is the short block of code, but when it comes to the method reference, it is the shortest form of the lambda. As I said, lambda is the shortest form of the code, but when it comes to the method reference, it is a shortest form of the lambda expressions. We can also say short block of lambda expressions. There are a couple of ways to represent method references. Okay. The first one is static reference. Second one is instance reference. Third one is so the first one is static reference, second one is instance reference, and the third one is a constructor reference. So let's see how we will write the method reference in Java. Before method references, After I can call method reference as mr. That is using LE means lambda expressions. Okay, expression. In LE, what I will do, consumer C equal to lambda style, you know, right? I told you already. Curly braces followed by arrow mark and then curly braces. Within that curly braces you can write statement. I am importing. So consumer is the functional interface which accepts a single parameter and doesn't return any value. So this is the parenthesis is used for the accepting parameters and curly brace used for the writing the some logic inside it. So consumer, as per the consumer functional interface, it accepts the single parameter. So I am taking parameters param1. Okay, and then writing statement inside it. I'm just writing loop statement. For I equal to, for I int I equal to 0, I less than param 1, I plus plus. Inside the for loop I am writing some statement. I'm just printing I only here. So this consumer is of type integer. Okay. In lambda style you will write the inline code. So here I am writing implementation for the accept method of the consumer function interface. So it is returning. Okay. Sorry. C dot accept of integer I am passing 5. Okay. So let me run this one. So it was printing numbers 0 to 4. That is what I have written here. Okay. Now we will see after introducing method references, so what is the procedure. So for that I need to create a method, separate method, public static void print numbers. Okay, I'm just printing numbers right here, print numbers. Okay, and it is of type integer. So number, and whatever here I am writing, right? So I am just writing inside it, and it is num. This is the way to write the code before the method reference. Maybe now you will get clear picture on it. If you see here, before method references we are like following lambda expressions, which means you are writing code, inline code. So you are using, means writing inline code means it is you it cannot be reused. So you are writing inline code here. Now if you see here, I have written some consumer. I have written, if you see here, I have written a consumer function interface and written inline code for the accept method of the consumer function interface. That is also inline code I have written. So this code, right? So if I write the code in inline, I cannot reuse this code, right? So that is what the issue with the lambda expressions. So I have written the same code. I have taken the same code and I have kept in the inside the method. Print numbers is the method, and here also I am passing param1, and here also I am passing into number number, and inside the logic is same. Here I am using for loop to print the numbers. Here also in the method also print to number method also I am writing the same logic, just printing the numbers, okay, based on the input you are passing, okay. So the logic is same, but in case the logic is same, everything is same. In case of lambda expressions, you cannot reuse the code, whereas in case of method reference, you can reuse the code, because you are writing the entire logic into the separate method. So wherever you require this logic, right, you can just call this method, so that you will so that you can reuse the code, right? So I am writing again consumer rough integer c1 equal to, so what I am doing, I am calling, this is the static method, okay, and it is inside the method reference ex class. So how we will call the static method in method reference is, now I am calling the static method print, that is print number from the class method reference ex in method reference style, okay. So the method reference, to call the static method in method reference way, method reference ex is the class name, and the method name is print number. Okay, c1 dot accept of I am passing 7, okay. Now let me run this program. If you see the output is printing 7 numbers from 0 to 6. So now you may arise a question. So generally consumer is the function interface, it's having a single abstract method, that is accept method. So when you create the reference for the consumer, it internally calls accept method, right? But I have not written any accept method implementation. Here it is consumer object is referring to the print number of the method reference ex class. Then how accept method and print methods are related? You may ask this question. There is no confusion here from these two statements. So here I am creating a consumer c1 of type integer, and I am telling the consumer c1 refer the method print number from the method reference ex class via accept method. So c1, I am telling the c1 of accept method refer this method instead of providing abstract implementation of the accept method. So now here you no need to provide the implementation for the accept method by inline code, by applying inline code. I am telling the consumer functional interface to refer this method instead of providing implementation for the accept method. Refer this method, here you will find the implementation for the same. If you see here, I have written some logic, right? So c1 telling to the accept method refer this method, Okay, now whatever you are passing 7, right, through accept method, so it will pass the 7 to the print number. Okay, so it will come to here and it will print the logic from this here. Let me write one more statement here. Okay, so I'm running again. If you see, it was printed from the print number method. So like C1 refers to accept method, and accept method refers to print number method. So abstract method referring internally to the custom method, that is nothing but print number from the method reference ex class. So that's why they have named it as method reference, referring the another method from the abstract method of the consumer function interface, referring the custom method from the accept method of the functional interface is nothing but method reference. Okay, I hope this is clear for all. And in Java, generally, if you want to call a static method, how we will call means with the class name dot method name. So that only I am doing here. Class name is method reference ex, and method name is print number. For method reference style, instead of dot you are putting 2 colons. Okay, so generally in Java, if you want to call some method, you will call method reference ex dot print number. But in method reference style, method class name colon double colon print number. This way we will call the static mesh in method reference. Okay, now earlier we discussed, right, there are multiple ways to represent a method reference. So this is the one way, that is nothing but you are calling static method, right? Print number is the static method. Okay, so this is like static way of referring. Okay, syntax for this is class name colon double colon method name. So far it looks fine because you are consumer creating a consumer reference, and that is that's having a accept method, and it is referring the print method. Up to this it looks good, it is fine. But this when you see the print number and accept number, both methods names are different, but inside, right, the parameter type you are passing in accept method and the parameter type in the print method both are of same type, integer, and here also you are passing integer. Then only it will refer the print number. Means the function interface inside the consumer function interface accept method, whatever parameter it is, parameter type it is passing, right, that should match with the print number. Then only it will refer the this method, print method. Suppose in case here I am consumer having accept method, it is accepting single parameter, right, integer of type 7. Okay, but if you change the print parameters to, if you add another parameter long, yes, so I have added another parameter, extra parameter. So now print method accepting 2 parameters. Okay, now you are getting compile time error because there is no method print method, right? there is no print method with a single parameter. But if you see here, we have a print method with two parameters, right? Whatever method you are referring, right, that method should follow the abstract method of the functional interface parameter types, means input parameters type. So now the print method is following the consumer functional interface accept method of input type. Whatever input accept is as accepting that input, that type of input only print number should accept, otherwise you will get errors like this. Okay, this is the way of referring the static mess in a method reference. Okay, let me write one more method. Okay, now I am referring static instance method. I am creating instant method, print chars. Okay, and I am taking string. Here I am writing s dot length gth. As you are passing, and it is print character. If you see here, I have written instance method of print char, and which is accepting string. Inside I am printing just each letter in the string. Since I am using instance method, right, create the object of it. Okay, so instance method, I am creating an object of m method reference mr equal to new mr. Okay, so now I have created a method reference for the method reference exe, because instance method refers with the object only, right, in Java. So that way I am for that only I have created mr object for the method reference exe. So the way of calling instance methods using method reference is, let me copy this statement. So I am passing string, right, string is c2 equal to object, what is the object name, dot method name is what, print chars. Okay, now see, generally in Java, object dot method name we will call for the for instance methods. In method reference style, object name followed by double colons followed by method name. Okay, now it is accepting string type, right? I'm just passing bytecode with rk of string type. Sorry, this is c2. Now you see bytecode with rk is printed here. For instance method, it should be object name double colon instance method name. Okay, this is the way. And as I told earlier, the argument types of the accept method and print characters must be same. Now let me see the constructor reference. The third one is the constructor reference. So I am writing a constructor of this class. Method reference. default constructor. Here I have created a default constructor, and inside I am calling just a default constructor. Okay, from default constructor I have just written a statement inside the constructor. So now the way of calling the constructors using the method reference is, so constructor reference means it was whatever function interface you are using, right, that should refer the constructor of the current class. So here I have written a constructor, that is default constructor I have written. It was not accepting anything, and I'm just writing the statement from the default constructor inside it. So now to call that method I need to create an interface. Okay, function that I need to create a function interface. So I'm creating interface, name is default constructor F5 function interface. Default constructor means I'm just naming it because I'm calling default constructor of the current class using this default constructor function interface. Here I have created an interface, default constructor function interface. Okay, what is function interface? Already I have discussed about the function interface definition. Just remember what is function. Any interface preceded by a direct of functional interface annotation, and the interface should have single abstract method void test, because it is accepting it was asking default constructor. You are about to call the default constructor in method reference, right? For that we need empty method in the function interface. So now how I will call this one means, in constructor reference interface name is default constructor. I am creating a reference for it, default constructor equal to what I am referring here, method reference, this one, calling default constructor, right? Since it is a default constructor, I am just writing new only. Syntax for the constructor reference is class name colon new. When you create a constructor, right, the new keyword will be used, right, to create an object of the constructor. That's why we are using new keyword here. Now I have created a functional interface default constructor F5. Okay, and it is having test method. So now the test method is referring to the what I am instructing. So I have created a default constructor F5 as a functional interface and create a reference for it, and I am assigning to this DC reference, I am assigning method reference ex double colon to call this method DC dot test. Now DC, what I am instructing to the DC is DC should refer to the DC will call the test method. Test method internally refers to the default constructor of the method reference ex. Okay, I am running. If you see the output, so default constructor reference DC refers to the test method, and test method refers to the default constructor of the method reference ex. So you can see here from the default constructor, which means DC refers to test, and test calls the default constructor of the method reference, that is from the default constructor. So it was executed. If you see here, you can see two statements here, default constructor, from the default constructor and from the default. This is like the first one is when the class is loaded, right, method reference ex, that time it will be executed. It means whenever a class is loaded, then automatically the default constructor of the class will be executed. So that's why it was executed two time when the class this method reference ex is initially loaded, right, that time the constructor automatically called, default constructor will be automatically executed. But second, this is from the second one. Okay, when you call the second time, right, so that statement is nothing, that statement is this one from default. So first one is loaded by default, and second one is we intentionally call the default method of the constructor using method reference, using constructor reference. Okay, so same thing, if you want to call the parameterized constructor, then how we will call means, let me use the same here. I need to pass some parameters, string info I'm passing. Parameterized welcomes if you see here, I want to so far I have seen the default constructor. Now I want to call the parameter constructor. So for that only I have added a extra parameter, created a parameter constructor which takes string as a parameter. So it was printing some statement inside it. Now I want to call the parameterized constructor, the method reference ex class using constructor reference. Okay, this is like syntax for default constructor. And I want to call the same parameterized constructor, and now I want to call. See, let me create one more function interface to call the parameterized constructor. I am creating one more interface, parameterized constructor F5 function. Since so now I have created a parameters constructor. Now I am adding the method reference ex equal to get info. So let me take first this one, parameterized constructor. I just want to create the parameterized constructor reference here. Parameterized constructor reference I am creating. Since I am calling constructor, right, so I am calling method reference ex equal to new constructor only, but what it having here, get method, get info. Sorry, it's PC dot get info. PC dot get info. So PC that How it is matching means the get info and the parameters constructor is matching means, if you see here, parameterized constructor accepting of argument of type string, and parameterized constructor fi also accepting of type string. That's why both are matching. So when I create the parameter reference for the function interface parameterized constructor fe, that is pc, if I create pc for the parameterized constructor fe, it refers to the get info method because it's having get info method, right, abstract method. So pc refers to the get info method, and get info method internally refers to the method reference of constructor, but you are passing here the parameter, right? Earlier you are not passing any parameter, that's why it was not, test method is not taking any parameters, so it was directly calls the default method. Now you are calling the constructor with a new keyword only, but you are passing some parameter to the constructor, right? So it will call the parameterized constructor of type string. So the argument type is string here. So get info method having parameter type string, and parameterized constructor also having parameter type of string. So when the parameter should match, forget about the name and name, forget about the method name, return type, all those things, just argument parameters you are passing, right, that should match, then only it will execute. Okay, so let me run this one. If you see the output, parameterized constructor welcomes bytecode with RK. So it was executing parameterized constructor. Now you may ask a question like, when I have a lambda expressions, then what is the need of the method references? Difference is when to use a method reference. Method reference can be used to call the existing method using either static way or instance way or constructor way. In case of lambda expression, you can write the logic, you can apply some logic, and you can write the inline code and then use that one. In case of method reference, you will reuse the code because you are writing the code in separate method. In case of lambda expression, you cannot reuse the code. That is all about the method references from the Java 8. If you are looking for the more videos, please click on the bell icon so that you will get the notifications. Please do like, share and subscribe to my channel. So we'll meet in the next session with the new topic. Thank you.